All right, everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. So this is for Tuesday, May 16th, 2017. All right, so the moon is still in Sagittarius today, as was the case the past couple days. So we could still be feeling quite expansive. Maybe it's open-minded, really good for philosophy, higher learning type of stuff. Spirituality, when it's about the wisdom of spirituality. Or we could be feeling quite expansive in the literal sense, really good for adventure, expanding our literal horizons. So yes, we could be feeling this way, just wanting a bit of that expansion. And I think, cultivating that a bit can help us feel nice and emotionally secure. Now, we are in the disseminating phase, which means that the energies are starting to die down from the full moon last week. So the second half of last week, we had this, higher energy, this awareness, this sort of status check, and even harvest of a lot of things in our life. So we're likely feeling now going into this week that yes, the energies are lowering, that the harvest time is sort of lowering. And so it is a great time to prolong this stuff. Any insights you did gain last week, really good for implementation this week. And again, seeing how it can be integrated and prolonged in your current life situation. So that's the moon. The moon is going to be shifting into Capricorn in the evening. For those of us in the Americas, we'll be feeling that the most. And by the way, if you are in the East, like New Zealand, Australia, that kind of a thing, you do want to watch the previous day's video. You will find that to be the most accurate. So if you're watching, so for this video, you want to watch this for the 17th for you. But anyways, yes, the Capricorn energy, more so tomorrow, is really going to add to a lot of grounded energy because we've got the sun in Taurus at this time. So maybe in the evening, feeling a bit detached with Capricorn, a bit like a bit reserved, which does make it really good for anything that does require discipline and patience. But yes, the sun in Capricorn was the shift from last weekend. So we already kind of are this way, right? We're a little bit more focused on things patiently, willing to take things slow and steadily, and perhaps even to examining our values in life. Okay, so that's the backdrop as well. So no major aspects today, but we do have some minor lunar aspects. The moon will be squaring up to Mercury and Uranus. So there might be a bit of clash with communication, maybe with the routine. It's a sort of feelings clashing with the logical mind. But yeah, there's a healthy way of working with this. So let's go and look at this in more detail when we return. All right, so let's look at these placements in the sky here. Yes, as you can see here, the moon is finishing up Sagittarius. So great again for just continuing with anything that you do feel like expands your horizons. And again, that could be mentally or quite literally. And by doing this, we feel emotionally secure. The moon is the inner body. It's our feelings, and it's saying our feelings are collectively integrating this more expansive stuff in our life. So there's Capricorn. That's going to be the theme for the next couple days, which will be a very grounded time. So if you do feel that shift, if you're very sensitive to the lunar energies, you could start to feel this today going into this more reserved, detached, feeling, which again makes it very good for productive things. Or if it's personal in your life, responsibility, patience, persistence, climbing the mountain one step at a time, which is Capricorn. All right, so that's the inner feelings, the inner self, if you will. And the outer self is in Taurus now, very well placed in Taurus from the shift last weekend. So the way we're focused on things is, I think, willing to be patient, right? Willing to take one step at a time before taking the next step, making sure one step is firmly placed, and really accessing our resourceful side as well. Throughout this about a month plus with the sun in Taurus, we could be learning a lot about our natural gifts, our natural abilities, cultivating our sense of self-worth, right? That through pursuing the things we value in life, we're gaining more of that confidence, that self-worth, that self-efficacy, the belief that we can actually attain and pursue our values. And that's exactly what Taurus is all about, is pursuing the things we truly value in life, but at the same time, stopping to smell the roses, right? Enjoying things, being grateful for the things we have in our life. Could make it a very luxurious time, enjoying good meals, relaxation, aromas, things of that nature. And I think fundamentally with Taurus, connecting to Earth, right? Getting our feet very planted into Earth and nature and life and plants can be excellent at this time. So that's the focus. That's the solar energy. We do have Mercury slowly but surely shifting into Aries, so they're kind of replacing each other. As the sun left Aries, Mercury's entering Aries now. So it still is this sort of, active general time in terms of, I think, still thinking about our personal needs, pursuing the things we want in life, and taking initiative. But we'll likely feel that more so the second half of this week as Mercury makes his way into Aries. And with our communication, we can be very direct, very to the point, and again, very clear about who we are and what we want. But we're not quite there yet. We're still kind of coming out of this very intuitive time of more of surrendering, kind of the opposite of Aries in many ways. Surrendering, detaching from everything that is outside of our control. So speaking on that Mercury and speaking of this Pisces, the moon is going to be squaring up to this sort of Mercury Uranus conjunction that we've had for the past month plus. So with this, I think this will take the dominant energy here today is probably feeling a bit of clash. And as I was saying, the moon is the inner self, the emotions, and Mercury is the logical mind. So emotions sort of clash with logic here today. And if there is anything you can do to bring extra attention to the feelings as well as extra attention to the mind, it can balance this out. And, as I always say too, with these mutable energies like Mercury, and Mercury is an immutable sign of Pisces, and the moon is a mutable sign of Sagittarius. These are all best cultivated with flexibility. So if there is a bit of clash, for example, whether it's inner or outer, being as flexible as possible, seeing how we can, adapt, change, be willing to adapt and change, be willing to learn, right? Mercury is all about learning and treating life as a learning process. And through that, it helps it flow. So it could involve communication. It could involve tech, actually technology, or even transportation, stuff like that. We're talking about Mercury and Uranus here. And again, maybe with the routine or maybe just with the perspective on things. But what I'm getting a sense of too with this mutable energy and the sun in Taurus is really just taking your time, right? Take your time to make sure everything is executed correctly, and that if it is communicated, it's communicated correctly. And I think with taking that extra time, this can be a very constructive day. In fact, if there is anything you want to challenge yourself towards that does involve communication, does involve technology, does involve your routine, the squares are about challenge. And when we step into the energy of the square, of challenging ourselves, it makes it a very productive time. All right, and so again, we are in this disseminating phase, so it's great to be taking action anyways, again, with whatever those insights were from last week. On a very minor note, there might be some healing taking place if you're more healing inclined today. Could be an excellent day for that, maybe feeling a bit rejuvenated on some level. And the big aspect about this week is that Saturn is starting to trine up to Uranus exact very closely, which is going to go exact later in the week. So the theme of this whole week really is about building things one step at a time that are in alignment with our freedom, that are in alignment with our true self, right? This aspect has been going on since December of last year. And so now we get this next shift, this new perspective shift about how we can have both responsibility and groundedness and structure in our life without having to sacrifice our freedom and our true self. And we're bridging the gap. We're bringing these two together this week. So today we could certainly be feeling this as well. All right, so that's the day in a nutshell. I would say strongly Moon, square Mercury and Uranus. Anything you can do to bring in that flexibility. Take a step back, take things nice and slowly, and challenge yourself. I think with communication, even being your true self, right? We're talking about Uranus here, right? Mixing things up, being open to change, that kind of a thing. And yes, Sun in Taurus, great for slow and steady, steps and just enjoying things in our life. And the Moon in Sagittarius, expanding our horizons, thinking big, right? Enjoying a bit of that adventurousness. And as we go into tomorrow, a bit of groundedness and the larger picture of things. All right, so have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.